Hi, in this video I'm going to take a look at confidence interval of the population mean. So we already spoke about the confidence interval for population proportion, but now we're going to take a look at confidence interval for the population mean. And a confidence interval for the population mean is nothing else than a range of values for which we can have 95% certainty that population mean, denoted with mu, is within that range, given range of values. So the way we're going to calculate that is by recognizing that the confidence interval for the population mean is given by sample mean plus or minus the margin of error E. So it's very similar to the population proportion. Recall that population proportion, confidence interval for the population proportion rather, is given by sample proportion plus or minus margin of error. So very similar calculation, except now to find the margin of error, we're going to use the following formula. For the 95% confidence interval, we're going to use 1.96, which is multiplied by sigma over root n. And if you remember from our consideration of the central limit theorem, sigma over n is simply the standard error of the sample mean. So this is what we need to be able to recognize. First, we'll recognize that confidence interval for the population mean is given by sample mean plus or minus margin of error. We find the margin of error by calculating it using this formula, 1.96 times sigma over root n, where n even is the number of items in the sample, and this term is the same as the standard error for the sample means. Cool. So how does that apply in an example? We know that a population has a mean given by mu and a standard deviation of 12. A random sample of 800 from this population has mean of 63. We have to find 95 confidence interval for the population mean. So I'm going to write down that sample mean is equal to 63. I'm going to write down that standard deviation is equal to 12. And I'm also going to write down that n equals to 800. So from here I can find my margin of error E, which is given by 1.96 multiplied by sigma over root n. Substituting the values in, it's 1.96 multiplied by 12 divided by root of 800. I'm going to plug this into calculator quickly. And the standard, the margin of error rather, is equal to 0.831. 831. So that's my margin of error. And from that margin of error, I can construct the confidence interval for the sample, for the population mean, by taking the sample mean and plus or minusing the margin of error, which is equivalent to the following statement: x minus x bar minus e is less than population mean is less than x bar plus e. So adding the values in, it's 63 minus 0.831, which is less than the population mean, which is less than 63 plus 0.831. And in that case, 63 minus 0.831 is 62.169. which is less than population mean, which is less than 63.831. So we have 95% certainty that mean of the population is between 62.169 and 63.831. And that's the confidence interval for the population mean. Thanks for watching.